The new Meganex Superlight 8K is an incredible 4K Micro-OLED PCVR headset and my new daily driver. But how good is it for sim racing? Is it worth the upgrade, and can your current PC actually run this? And how does it compare to the Pimax Crystal and the Quest 3? I have directly compared those headsets on my mobile 4090 laptop to give you all the answers. So absolutely stay tuned, watch the whole video, because all of the goodness is coming up. I'm glad that you're back here on the channel. My name is Sebastian Ang, and if you're excited about PCVR, then without a doubt this is your channel. So subscribe now and click on the bell button so that you don't miss anything, because this is the place for the latest and greatest in VR. If you have followed MRTV, then you already know what the Meganex Superlight 8K is. For all the others, in a nutshell, it is a new PCVR headset that comes with two 4K Micro-OLED panels, pancake lenses, lighthouse tracking, and only weighs 189 grams. So far, I enjoyed everything I threw at it. But how about sim racing? To find out about that, I played Automobilista 2 with the Meganex Superlight 8K and directly compared it to the Pimax Crystal Light and the Quest 3 that you might be using right now. My system is an XMG Neo 16 laptop, the fastest laptop of the mobile 4090 era last year. The mobile 4090 has the power of a desktop 3090, just to give you an idea. For this comparison, I've tested comfort, visuals for day and night races, FOV and performance to really be able to tell you the difference and what to expect if you consider that $2,000 upgrade. So let's start. Comfort. I started my test with the Quest 3, probably the headset that most of you own. I've already upgraded comfort here with the Bobo S3 head strap. And yes, I do not have any complaints here. It is a good fit and I could wear it for a long time. The only problem I do have with this setup is that I cannot really lean back my head against the headrest because the hard strap is in the way. The weight is bearable, but without a doubt you can feel that you're wearing something on your head. Looking around works pretty well. There is some inertia, but it is acceptable. Another advantage here, since I'm streaming this via virtual desktop, this is a completely wireless setup. Good. No cable tucking on you. The Pimax Crystal is a bigger beast though. I've also modded the original for comfort using the Studio Form mods. And with these mods, the headset is also comfortable for me to use. But it does feel bigger and simply more clunky when dealing with it. Also, while the weight is not this much heavier compared to the Quest 3 with the Bobo VR head strap, there is simply more inertia because it sticks out more. The device wants to keep moving when you turn your head. It's Newton's first law of motion in full force. Also, some problem as with the Quest 3, the rigid head strap is not very comfortable when you try to lean back on your headrest. Overall, I prefer the Quest 3 comfort here. And now we finally can talk about the Meganex Superlight 8K. The comfort here is simply sensational. It is a whole different ball game and a huge upgrade, not only over the Quest 3 and Pimax Crystal, but over any VR headset I've ever used before, including the Big Screen Beyond. A Halo style design with this kind of weight, only 189 grams, is just a winning combination. You absolutely do not feel the headset anymore, and you can drive hours and hours without any fatigue. Also, because it's so light, there is no inertia. You can look around just as if you're sitting in this car, without the feeling of wearing a headset. If you're excited about a comfort upgrade, this is it. Why do I also prefer it over the Big Screen Beyond? I do not particularly enjoy the silicone material of that cushion on my face, and here only the light seal will slightly touch your face. That is just so much more comfortable. So the comfort category clearly goes to the Meganex. Visuals. Let's talk about visuals. First, I drove a day race and started with the Quest 3. As mentioned above, I used it wirelessly with virtual desktop in godlike mode. So with a high resolution of 3072 by 3216 pixels per eye using the AV1 codec. I can just say this really looked good. In terms of sharpness, I was very surprised just how good and crisp it looked. Of course, since the actual panel resolution is lower, there will be some edge flickering, especially for objects that are further away, but overall this is a good picture. Also in terms of brightness, I could absolutely not complain. The headset could nicely represent a sunshiny day. Color-wise, it was not so impressive though. It all looked a bit washed out and I would have hoped for more contrast and saturation. Another moot point, the binocular overlap simply is not great here. On the very left and very right, you have these areas that do not overlap anymore and are therefore darker than the overlapping areas. Of course, you will get used to that, but it is still something that reminds you, this is not real, you're wearing a headset. But still, what this headset offers for its $500 asking price though is remarkable and the best bang for its buck. Next it was the Pimax Crystal's turn, and here I was on 100% Steam VR resolution and medium settings in Pimax Play, which resulted in a resolution of 3824 by 3232 pixels. And yes, this already looks better, and without a doubt we do see the increase in resolution here and better, more saturated colors. Interestingly though, it was not much brighter than the Quest 3. The Crystal still has an incredibly sharp picture, especially when you're considering it's an under $1,000 headset. You can tell that it has a higher resolution display and you get less of edge flickering for objects further away. But also, it is tough to unsee the binocular overlap problems when you have used the Meganex exclusively for the last week. So let's talk about that. And here we are. Visuals of the Meganex Superlight 8K in Automobilista 2 at 100% super sampling, giving us a resolution of 4084 by 4084 pixels per eye. Does it look great? Oh yes, without a doubt, it does. And I was not surprised about it. You get much less of this edge flickering, and even objects that are further away look so sharp and lifelike that it's just a joy to race in this headset. But what made this whole experience feel more real than in the other headsets was not even the high resolution here, because that already looked pretty good on the other headset as well. It truly is the better binocular overlap. It just feels more real when you do not have those darker areas in your vision that constantly remind you that what you see is not reality. And you do not have that with the Meganex. It just feels like your real life, where both eyes see the same thing. It is simply more natural and will give you more immersion. You just want to look around and take it all in. Of course, it helps that you're looking at 4K Micro-OLED panels that give you such a high fill factor that it's now truly impossible to see individual pixels. That is still a different thing with the Quest 3, for example. But on the other hand, in direct A/B comparison, you also clearly see that the Meganex is not as bright as the LCD competition. So if you enjoy headsets that give you the feeling of truly enjoying a sunshiny day, the Meganex will have a hard time to give that to you. Is it dim though? No, not at all. But in direct comparison, it is just a difference, and when you upgrade from your Quest 3 or Crystal, you will see that difference. Colors are of course better on the Meganex. Same with contrast, and you do not have the problem of washed out visuals like on the Quest, for example. You get much better contrast here. Overall, the Meganex offers stunning visuals that are not as bright but more realistic compared to the competition, thanks to near perfect binocular overlap, higher resolution panels, better colors and higher contrast. So how about night races? The Quest 3 clearly comes in last place here. Its LCD blacks are grayish and it can hardly convey the atmosphere of racing at night. There is no question you can still enjoy the headset, but for $500 there must be some compromises. And that is simply the lack of real blacks, or at least some local dimming technology as seen in the Quest Pro, for example. Driving night races just feels very video gamey. It still looks good, but yeah, you are playing a video game and it could not be more obvious than doing the night races in the headset. The Pimax Crystal does a pretty good job in night races. Here you can indeed see really nice blacks if you turn on the local dimming function. However, you do not really have quite enough dimming zones, which leads to blooming around bright areas, and if you set local dimming to aggressive mode, it actually feels like you are simply decreasing the brightness for all of the picture. So while you get very good blacks, you do not really have fantastic bright lights anymore that would stand out in the darkness. It all gets darker. So let's get to the Meganex. And yeah, what can I say? OLED for the win. I love OLED in VR headsets. It is simply the best. Night races in the Meganex Superlight 8K are stunning. Stunning, yes. You get real OLED blacks and high contrast lights without any blooming at all. You are driving at night. And there is a little here that will remind you that you are not in the car, but actually at home using a VR headset. It is spectacular. There is still some glare in the headset, but it is way less than in the Big Swing Beyond or in the PSVR 2. This is simply OLED like you had hoped for. And of course, there is absolutely zero Mura to be seen. If you love atmospheric night races, this should be your next headset. FOV. Now let's compare the FOVs of the headsets. Instead of measuring degrees, I did the real life comparison. Let's call it my Porsche 911 test. And shout out to Steve60 from the MRTV Discord who came up with it. I simply looked at the rear view mirror and the left side mirror. How much of both could I see at the same time? Quest 3. For the Quest 3, when I see the full rear view mirror in my right eye, on the left I can also see the full left side mirror and even a bit more if I push the headset even closer to my eyes. But like this, both mirrors are in that non-overlap area. The headset stretches its FOV and sacrifices binocular overlap here. But it's a nice FOV. For the Pimax Crystal, when I see the complete rearview mirror, I could see pretty much all of the left side mirror as well, but a bit less than in the Quest 3. But also here, both mirrors are in that non-overlap area. The Meganex Superlight 8K does a surprisingly good job here as well. When I see the complete rear view mirror on the right, I can still see half of the left side mirror. That is a bit less than Quest 3 and Crystal, but I do see the mirrors on both eyes at the same time. And as by now you should be aware, I prefer better binocular overlap over just a little FOV gain. So surprisingly, the FOV disadvantage of the Meganex is not as big as I thought it would be in an actual game, but the binocular overlap advantage is huge. So for me, the feeling of speed is much more intensive if the visuals are more realistic, thanks to that overlap. I've heard the argument more than once now that a huge FOV will give you more feeling of speed, but I would like to argue it has to come together with a good binocular overlap. I cannot enjoy the big FOV of a Vario XR4 or a Vive Pro 2 that do have big FOVs but sacrifice overlap and therefore 3D immersion. You will feel plenty of speed in the Meganex, but you should get really close to the lenses. If you hope to wear standard glasses within the headset, or if your eyeballs are especially deep in your skull, this is probably not your headset and the FOV will be just way too small. I tried that and wore my glasses in the headset, but I did not like it. So currently I'm using the diopter adjustment, but I can't wait for my actual lens inserts to arrive. Performance. As mentioned above, I was running those performance tests on a mobile 4090 laptop that is as strong as a 3090 desktop. So your desktop 4090 or 5090 machines will be much better. But still, it's a good test because I know many of you are wondering, can you actually enjoy the 4K Micro-OLED Meganex with weaker machines? Or do you need an absolute beast of a headset? That is a pretty interesting question. To make matters worse, I was also recording those tests with OBS, which took another 20 frames away. Quest 3. The Quest 3 was running incredibly smooth at 45 frames locked and Virtual Desktop's motion smoothing algorithm. Again, I was running this on Godlike with a high resolution of 3072 by 3216. It looked great and ran very well. For the Pimax Crystal, running at 100% super sampling and the medium Pimax Play settings, which is a resolution of 3824 by 3232 pixels, I got 50 FPS and it was not as smooth of an experience like with the Quest 3. Virtual Desktop really is a hell of a software, and if you're on a Quest and you're not using it, go and get it now. For the Meganex, at 100% it runs at a resolution of 4084 by 4084 pixels. That was quite a bit too much for a mobile 4090 laptop, taking into consideration that I also had to record everything for you. I got around 40 FPS here and I could tell the difference. There is no motion smoothing yet, and the company is still working on their own solution right now. So if you have a desktop 3090, you should without a doubt go down in resolution. And that is exactly what I did. At 3K by 3K per eye, I got a stable 90 FPS without recording with OBS on my laptop. And I can tell you, it still looked absolutely fantastic. Interestingly, it was not a huge difference as compared to the full resolution, and it still looked better than Crystal and Quest because it still had a better binocular overlap, it still had the same better OLED colors, and even though the resolution was lower, the high pixel density just makes a difference. Even when downsampled, virtual objects look more lifelike than in headsets with a lower pixel count. The fill factor makes a difference. So just to see how it would look, I even downsampled to 2.6K by 2.6K per eye. And yes, even at that low resolution, it still looked good. Of course, now you could more easily see a difference here as compared to the full resolution, but guess what was still better than the competition? Yep, the colors and the overlap. So I can confirm, yes, you can also have fun with a lower powered PC, and it must not be the 5090 beast for the Meganex Superlight 8K. I say a desktop 3080 can give you plenty of fun in your sim racing sessions with this device. But there's no question, the faster the better. So let's come to the conclusion here. Yes, the Meganex Superlight 8K is indeed a fantastic update for VR racing simmers. In my opinion, the biggest and most dramatic upgrade is the comfort. It is simply such a huge difference as compared to Quest and Crystal. You do not feel this headset anymore. You can stay in this for hours and there is no more inertia when doing fast head movements. You completely become one with the headset. Now that is what I call immersion. If you want the most comfortable VR headset for your sim racing needs, here it is. Just go for the Meganex. The visuals are also better and more immersive thanks to the high pixel density of the 4K displays, the near perfect binocular overlap, and the true OLED colors that make tracks and cars look more real. Especially for night races, this is a whole new experience and, well, a day and night difference. See what I did there? For day races though, you will see less of a bright picture, so that is one thing to be aware of if you come from an LCD headset. Also, you get slightly less FOV here, but as you know by now, my favorite two words are binocular overlap. It is much too underrated as compared to FOV but probably my content helps to change that. MRTV for the win. So, is it worth $2,000 US? If you already own Crystal or Quest 3, you already got very capable headsets that will both give you a wonderful experience that you can be happy about. But if you are that kind of person that really wants to be on the cutting edge of tech and that chases each little improvement that could shave off another few milliseconds from that lap time, probably because you feel less fatigue after hours due to the comfort here, well, then these 2K will be very well spent. If this is your first headset for VR sim racing and you directly want to jump in with full force and get the best there is out there, be my guest and treat yourself. But if you're still racing on a monitor setup, and you just want to dip your toes into VR, a Quest 3 will do. And even that will blow you out of the water. I truly hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, give me a thumbs up, and as always, if my content helps you make a more informed purchasing decision about the headset that you want to purchase, I would be very grateful if you support my work by going through the MRTV affiliate links that you can always find down in the descriptions of the respective videos. That is everything for this video. If you have any more questions, do leave them in the comment section and tell me what is your headset of choice for sim racing. Is it the Quest 3 right now? Is it a Pimax headset? Are you still on my beloved Reverb G2 or are you on the Big Swing Beyond? And do you want me to make a comparison video for the Big Swing Beyond and the Reverb G2? If yes, leave it a thumbs up. And if you want to chat with me in the community, come to the MRTV Discord server. The link is also down in the description of this video. And well, there's a great community. I would love to meet you there. That's truly everything. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.